The true expense of owning a private jet. One thing that always screams luxury is having access to a private jet. Whether it's for hire or one of your own fleet, there's nothing that says luxury more than being able to fly wherever you want at the drop of a hat. Welcome back to the Money Bracket. Today, we're going to take a look at the true expenses of owning a private jet. Be sure to stick around until the end, and remember, if you like what you see on these videos and want more, hit that subscribe button and don't forget the notification bell so you can be the first in line. Let's get to it. Number 1. Is it worth it? Before you start hunting for your new private jet, it's important to figure out if it's going to be worth it. You need to be doing some serious air miles week in, week out to warrant the expense, or you could just really be after that luxury flight experience without the addition of armrest thieves, screaming kids, and bad food you'd usually find on commercial airlines. Very few people actually own their own private jets and instead opt to rent, as the price for a brand new private jet can range from around $3 million all the way up to $90 million, and with all the extras and additional customization, the price can soar to hundreds of millions of dollars. If you wanted to get the full experience of having your own jet without the price tag of a small island, you could always opt for much cheaper, second-hand models, although don't be fooled, as they'll still cost you millions of dollars. For example, a pre-owned Gulfstream G450 costs around $14 million on the Gulfstream website. Number 2. Where will you keep it? Unfortunately, we don't think a driveway will be much use with one of these. Many private jet owners assume that it's acceptable to store them outdoors the same way you would park a car because they are flown in the open. While this is an option, it's certainly not recommended. Over time, the condition of private jets that are not stored indoors or under a roof will deteriorate quickly. Paintwork will start to look dull, and any decals that have been placed on the plane will fade quickly as well. Private jets that are not stored in a locked hangar or shed are also prone to being tampered with. A plane that has been tampered with or damaged in any way can also pose a serious risk if it is flown and the damage hasn't been detected. A large number of private jet owners choose to rent space in what is known as a common hangar or a gang hangar. These types of hangars can facilitate the storage of a number of private planes, and they are usually the least expensive option for storage purposes. While shared hangars may be the most affordable indoor storage option, there are a few possible risks involved with this method. When a private jet shares hangar space with a number of other different aircraft, there is always the possibility of damage occurring to it when any of them are moved around. The cost of sharing hangar space for a private jet will depend on which space has been allocated to it. Spaces that are closer to the door area will cost more because it is more convenient to move the jet outside, whereas spaces further into the facility will of course be cheaper. However, when spaces deeper inside the hangar are rented, jet owners may be required to give up to 24 hours notice each time they want to fly. This can be a real hindrance to the purpose of a private jet if you want the freedom to fly anywhere and whenever you want to go. You also have to remember that private jets that are parked in shared hangars may also be subject to higher insurance premiums or fees. Number 3. Fuel isn't cheap. Much like regular fuel, prices can completely vary depending on where you are in the world. However, with a plane, sadly, you can't just stick a few dollars in and hope it gets you to your next destination. You need to have enough fuel to get to not just your actual destination, but also both of your backup destinations in case there's an unexpected emergency and you're unable to land at your planned airport. Jet fuel can cost anywhere between $4 per gallon all the way up to $11 per gallon, which may not sound like a lot, but when you realize you need to go thousands and thousands of miles, it starts to stack up. For instance, a Cessna Citation X is a high-performance jet and holds roughly $11,500 worth of fuel when completely full, and its consumption uses roughly $2,082 per hour. Probably a little more than a Honda Civic, that's for sure. Number 4. Surprise fees. It's not just the plane and fuel that you have to pay for. Every airport you leave from or land at will come with its own set of costs for you to pay, and it can vary from airport to airport. Unless you're refueling, you'll be expected to pay a landing fee at every location, and landing fees can vary pretty drastically by airport, depending on the size and the weight of the aircraft, amongst other factors. They can usually vary from $100 up to as much as $500, but as we mentioned, sometimes these fees can be removed if your aircraft is refueling at the airport. You also have to pay a ramp fee, which is charged whenever a plane is parked at an airport for a certain length of time. Also, some governments will charge what is known as a segment fee, which is a tax based on the amount of people on each flight. Flying in the winter, you could even be charged a de-icing fee. These are often difficult to predict, but expect to be billed extra if your trip encounters seriously cold weather. Like you needed another reason to travel in the summer. Number 5. Upgrades. Although private jets are the pinnacle of luxury for most, the sky is quite literally the limit when it comes to how far you can take it. Most jets are able to be upgraded to better suit your needs and give the owner the experience of a lifetime. For instance, if you're thinking of doing most of your flying at night but don't want to miss out on that precious beauty sleep, you can customize your jet to have a full king-sized bed suite to make sure you're living like a king. Want to make sure you're looking and feeling fresh when you land at your destination? The Boeing Business Jet MAX 7 allows you to have a full bedroom with a luxurious walk-in bathroom to give you that hotel experience whilst flying mile high. Love your tech upgrades? The Gulfstream G650ER, a mere $66.5 million, allows you to control the entire cabin from the touch of a smartphone app, including the lights, temperature, and TV screens. Are you a big fan of movies? Well, luckily for you, the Bombardier Global 7000, coming in at a cool $73 million, allows you to have your own full onboard cinema theater with surround sound, mood lighting, and of course, a snack bar for all your favorite treats whilst catching up on the latest blockbusters. Number 6. Insurance. Not only do you need to cover your jet itself against damage or any unforeseen circumstances, but you also need to cover your crew and your passengers. Much like any other vehicle, insurance rates vary between models and go up based on age, use, and location. It can cost around $50,000 for full coverage for your average private jet, but expect to see this number soar if you've got your hands on a high-end model. However much it costs, you need to be certain it's factored into your budget because it's not an optional extra. Number 7. Valet. You'd be pretty disappointed if you and your guests stepped onto your new private jet after the last flight, only to find it full of rubbish, stains, and looking like the aftermath of a house party, right? You can't just grab a bucket and a mop to keep your jet looking clean. You need to hire a professional crew to keep it looking in tip-top shape. Cleaning companies vary from vehicle to vehicle, but an exterior wash can start at around $100 for a small aircraft like a Cessna and up to $600 for a large jet. The price goes up from there if you want extras. For example, if you're looking to get the exterior polished, typically the cost for a small engine polish would be at $275, and a large jet could cost you anywhere above $2,500. Number 8. The pilot. If you really want to soak in the luxury of flying in a private jet, it's highly unlikely you're going to be manning the controls yourselves, so you're going to need to get yourself a pilot, and a good one at that. Captain salaries tend to start at around the $100,000 mark, but the safety of you and your passengers isn't something you want to scrimp and save money on, so you're going to want to pay for someone with some serious experience. Of course, if you're looking to travel often, you're going to need at least 2 pilots. An experienced pilot's salary rises after at least 500 hours of flying, so to get your hands on 2 pilots is going to set you back at least $250,000 to $300,000 per year. But the peace of mind knowing your journey is in safe hands is much worth than the cash. Number 9. The crew. Similar to the previous point, you're not going to want to spend your flight from New York to Hong Kong serving your own food and mixing your own drinks, that's for sure. Good crew is just as important to the luxury experience as the plane itself, so it's wise to invest properly rather than trying to save. High-quality stewardess VIP flight attendant salaries can range from $50,000 up to around the $150,000 mark, depending on the flight attendant's experience and also if they're bilingual. Remember, you'll need more than one, especially if you're planning on having several guests on each flight. Also remember, wherever you're staying at your destination, your crew will need to stay too. This includes food, accommodation, and per diem for all staff, so be sure to factor this into your budget. So there you have it. Private jets are for the seriously wealthy, and even just thinking about purchasing one feels like it will make a major dent in your bank balance. But is it worth it for the luxury? You bet! We hoped you liked the video. Be sure to drop us a comment below if you've taken anything away from this video, or if any of you have ever been on a private jet. Maybe you own one, or you're thinking of getting one after watching this video. Regardless, be sure to let us know. Hit like and be sure to click that notification bell to be the first to catch our content. See you in the next video.